Hey, good morning, everybody. Red Sox collector Dan McGraw. It is Thursday, June. I believe it's the 17th today. My day off from work. Um, Feeling good, getting back to normal here. Having some shoulder pain lately. Don't know what that's all about. Don't know if it's related back to my accident or just some stiffness moving from the back up to the shoulder. But God, it's been really sore the last couple days. So hoping that's going to get a little bit better. I wanted to do a video today that's different from my normal videos. Normally, if you watch my channel, you see that I'm showing cards, showing mail days, and I get plenty of stuff in the mail, and I always have things to show. And of course, it's all from my PC, my Red Sox collection. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about what I might be doing in the hobby if I wasn't collecting Red Sox cards. Now, many of you out there have PCs, whether it's a player, a team, a set, an era, a facet of collecting, like whether it's cards, autographs, memorabilia, combinations of both. Everybody does something different, which is cool, which is what makes our hobby so unique and fun, is that there's always, that's what makes this community so fun, is no matter, I know most of the people watching my channel don't collect Red Sox cards. They might collect a player that played for the Red Sox, or they like the history of the Red Sox, but they're not a collector of a team. They just kind of maybe collect a little bit of everything. Maybe they're buying cards of superstars or Hall of Famers or whatever. So I appreciate all the people that do watch my channel, because I do realize how focused my videos tend to be. So today I wanted to try something a little different. So I want to talk about what my ultimate hobby aspiration would be if I wasn't 47 years old, married with bills and a child in private school, and just the reality of life. When I look back at my days in the hobby, I started collecting cards when I was 6 years old, when my mom used to send me to the corner store to buy pickup stuff for the house, whether it was a half a gallon of milk or a loaf of bread or whatever. She'd give me an extra quarter. I'd buy a pack of cards or a couple packs of stickers or whatever they had behind the counter at the time. That's what got me into the hobby. And my older brother collected. My dad was more of a coin collector. He dabbled in and out. My uncle was a big sports card collector, and he actually helped build my collection in the early days. But back in the day, I just collected everything I could. I mean, I couldn't really afford old cards and didn't really know the old players when I was very young. And I was always a very student of the game of baseball and baseball cards. I read all the publications. I had so many publications as a kid. Baseball Cards magazine, Baseball Card News, that was probably my favorite publication. Sports Collectors Digest was like the holy grail. And then, of course, you had Beckett. You had Sports Card magazine. There was one other one, it seems like, that I used to get when I was a kid as well, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But you read through it for magazines and stories about collecting, and of course the ads. That's where you bought cards back then. There was no internet. You bought cards through magazines, through mail order. We've never had a lot of card stores in my area. I've lived in the same small area of Maine my whole life, and at any given time, I think the most card stores we ever had in the Twin City area was maybe three or four, and they varied from a coin and card store to a card and comic store, and they never really had a lot of cards. There was one that I used to love that used to have a lot of singles, and I used to go there to with my checklists and fill my sets and as best I could. He didn't last very long, and amazingly, I never owned a card store. And if you would have known me as a kid, as big into it as I was, you look back in my high school yearbook, even my aspiration was to someday own a baseball card store. And just again, life gets in the way of that. Probably the best opportunity I would have had to do that was in my early 20s, when I was working for the local Pepsi bottling group. I was making good money. I had insurance. I was living at home. That would have been the ultimate time where I maybe could have tried to do something, found a small space and opened up a store and worked it part time and built it into something. But just that, unfortunately, that time of my life is when I kind of got out of collecting cards briefly. So that would have been probably the best time to do it, but it wasn't an interest of mine at that point in my life. But now, of course, with the boom in the hobby and the fact that I'm just still love everything about the hobby. My ultimate aspiration, and this is going to sound crazy, and it will never happen, but I have to say it. As some of you have seen in my videos, I have a Burbank Sports Cards T-shirt that I wear in some of my videos. They're located out in Burbank, California, and they are the largest seller of singles in the world. 43 million cards, I believe, is what they have in stock right now, and they do all sports. They do non-sports. And they have a Instagram page that is quite popular and that I actually follow, and I watch their videos every day. And it's just typically every day the owner, Rob, comes on and does a 10, 12, 13-minute video about what's going on in the hobby. They're actually opening up a second location that they're going to feature just retail. With the boom of the hobby, and where they're located and with their reputation and their years in business and the volume of cards that they sell, they have a very high foot traffic store. They have a huge Beckett Marketplace presence. They have over 2 million unique items on eBay, and they sell all throughout the world. And they have great customer service, and they're fast shipping. I've dealt with them for many years and always been very happy with them. And to me, that kind of an operation, it would be my ultimate sports card fantasy, if you will. If I wanted to get into the business, that's how I'd want to do it. I'd want to be on a huge scale where I'd have tons of inventory to help people. Would it be easy? No. He talks about all the time, I don't do what's easy, I do what's difficult, because that's how you build a customer base. And he's been doing it so long. He's got 24 employees, I think, right now. A lot of it is younger kids right now out of school for the summer that he hires, and they all have specific jobs. He tailors his business to be simple. You don't need to know anything about sports cards to be in his business. He makes it about numbers, colors, etc. Everything is simplified, and they have amazing cards that they purchase on a daily basis from collectors. They have a huge collector base that visits their store, and they're going to be expanding their operation even more. And I look at that and I say to myself, boy, if only I could do something like that. That, to me, if I was going to get into it, I wouldn't want to be a box breaker or a case breaker. I wouldn't want to sell just PSA slabs or any kind of slab, the high dollar type items. To me, that's boring. I'd love to have inventory. I love it. He'll go through sometimes in his videos and show his staff in the warehouse pulling cards for online orders, and he'll say, "What's the last card you pulled?" And they'll say, like the video the other day, one of them I think was a Muggsy Bogues card. And then what was funny about his last video, like I said before, he hires people that don't know anything about baseball or sports or cards or anything, but he makes it so simple that they can come in and work day one and be efficient. He asked the kid, "What's the last card you pulled?" And he said, "Paul Molitor," meaning Paul Molitor. Didn't even know who Paul Molitor was, a baseball Hall of Famer. So it's proof in the pudding that the way he runs his operation, you don't need to know anything about sports cards to be able to be a worker in the industry. So that is, if I had like my ultimate fantasy to make my living in sports cards, that's what I would want to do. I'd want to be the Burbank Sports Cards of the East Coast. I would want to have that kind of inventory and that kind of customer following and that kind of, just pumping cards out the door every day, thousands of cards out the door every day, and not just, high-end, LeBron James cards or Luka I don't even know how you pronounce his last name, Doncic or Doncic, or Mike Trout's or the hottest, football rookie. I'd be wanting to put out that, 1980 Topps Bump Wills card or that 1986 Fleer Lloyd Mosby, to help that collector fill his set or his team set or his collection or what have you. That to me would be my ultimate fantasy in sports. So I just thought I'd share that today, something different. Hopefully I'll get a few views on this and some comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you could like fulfill your ultimate sports card fantasy, and I'm not talking about what card would you love to have. I'm talking about if you were in the sports card industry, in the business, if you could have a business, what would your business be like? What would you want to do? That's what I would like to do. It's never going to happen. I'm just too old, and I have a good job and a family, and I couldn't possibly start over and try to get that kind of inventory in a storefront. I just don't have the energy at this point in my life. I'm going to stick to my Red Sox collection. That's what I love. That's what I do. But I thought it'd be fun to talk about something like that today. So I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. Definitely love to see the comments. I'm going to try to follow through on some comments, and I may even put a link to their Instagram page, Burbank Sports Cards, so you can check out their videos. And, for seasoned hobby veterans like myself, there's not a lot of new information, but if you're a business owner of any kind, or if you happen to have a sports card store, you can get some good information from him. I mean, a lot of it, he rehashes a lot of the same things over and over, but you run out of things to talk about when you do these every day. So, but I find them interesting, and I'm always looking for information about the hobby, and I recommend that. So I'm going to do my best to put a link to his Instagram page in there, and look forward to seeing your comments. And maybe some people can make some videos too and talk about that. I would love to see that. So maybe keep that in mind too. Make a video follow up. I'd love to hear what people have to talk about. That's all I got for today. I do have some stuff coming in today's mail, but it's all plain white envelope stuff. Probably $1, $2, $3 cards from my want list. So I probably will not make another video later. But hope to hear some responses to this. I'm really curious to hear what people kind of fantasize about in the hobby. So thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, take care.